In this video, I'm going to discuss 10 ways to optimize your operations. Hello, I'm Jon Bassford. I'm the founder and CEO of Lateral Solutions, an operations management company specializing in the launch and management of internal operations for startups, small businesses, and nonprofits. This is my YouTube series, Business Operations Insider, where I give tips and advice on how to streamline, enhance, and automate your internal operations. If you like these topics, please hit the subscribe button. So let's get into today's topic, 10 ways to optimize your operations. One of the areas that I believe is often missed when you want to optimize your operations is how your culture addresses this issue. Here's a few quick tips on ways you can advance your culture to optimize your operations. One is creating a culture where questions are able to be asked. And I don't mean simple questions like, how do I do that? But question why we are doing something and why we are doing it that way. A lot of times we get into routines where we just become habitual in what we're doing without thinking what the greater impact is and why we are doing it. So creating a culture where people are able to ask those questions is vitally important to optimizing your operations. Also, with the questions comes allowing input from anywhere. How many times have we worked in an organization where someone said, that's above your pay grade, or that's not your department? But in today's organizations, especially small businesses, startups, and nonprofits, so many different departments are intertwined in how they operate. It's important to get perspective from different areas, even if it's not their core function, because they often have an insight that can help optimize and create better results. Another key piece to optimize is your organizational development. And what I mean by that is, do you have the right people in the right roles? Do you have people that understand the subject matter that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis so that they can assess and analyze and not just follow a list of tasks? If you have a bunch of task drivers, then they're never going to be looking at ways to improve and optimize your operations. Process. We know process has a big component in optimizing your operations. You have to be looking at where the clogs exist in the wheel and also look for redundancies. You got to be looking at who's touching things, when, and why. If you can eliminate the blocks in how you're operating and reduce redundancy, there's no doubt that you're going to optimize your operations. Tools and platforms. This is, in today's digital age, there are countless tools and platforms that we can utilize throughout organizations to optimize them. Better ways to communicate, reduce, I talked about earlier, reduce the cogs in the wheel. In today's digital age, there's not a shortage of tools and platforms that can absolutely help you optimize your operations. You want to look at ways that platforms and tools work with one another to reduce human entry, reduce human error, and ones that actually are designed to work with another so they don't have constant breakdowns through connections. So making sure that you're utilizing tools and platforms that can help get the job done more efficiently. Utilize the gig economy. The gig economy is using outsourced work for situational purposes on a part-time basis. That's how I would describe it. So a lot of times organizations, they tend to use Band-Aids to fix problems, where if you just could bring in that expert person to solve a problem, to do something right the first time, you're going to reduce the amount of bandages that you have to place in your organization. That in turn is absolutely going to optimize your operations. Improve communication. We always hear about communication, but it's still always one of those pieces that's constantly overlooked. You got to be able to communicate what it is that your organization does, should be doing, and how to do it. And reduce the micromanagement that happens sometimes with over communicating. You want to make sure that your communication is as effective as possible, that drives results and efficiency at the same time. SMART goals and KPIs is another great way to optimize your organization. Most of us know what SMART goals are, but in case you don't, they have to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And how I think this improves operations is, again, it pulls away from the task drivers. If people understand what the end goal, the end vision of each component is, they're able to look at ways to improve the process, improve the operations, and make sure everything is as optimized as possible. Along with that, I kind of just touched on another point here, but setting and communicating a vision. Again, it's tied to the goals a little bit, the SMART goals, but it is different, right? It's about where your company is going in the long term. We tend to set little goals of this is, get this achieved by this amount of time. But a lot of times executives and senior leadership fail to properly communicate the overall vision of the company and where it wants to go. If you understand where a company wants to go, you can be looking at the tasks you're doing, looking at the process procedures you're doing, and making sure it's not just aligned with what we're doing right now and where we're going right now, but where we want to go for the future. Another key piece of optimizing your operations is holding people accountable. Again, I think this is an area that's often missed, but it's important that when we create this culture where we're driving results, driving efficiency, making sure that our operations are optimized, that we're holding people accountable when they're not operating in that way. And lastly, when we think about optimizing operations, I always talk to people about daring to dream. It's thinking about what is possible. Again, this is a further step away from that task-driven mentality, looking at the vision, looking at the company. But when you dare to dream, you think about all the possibilities of how we could do this, why we should do that way, and what is possible for our company, our organization to be able to grow and achieve more results. Thank you for watching. If you're looking for more guidance with your internal operations, I invite you to learn about my Biz Ops Masters program by clicking the link in the description box. I'll see you next time.